Hello, hello. And today I actually wanted to talk about something I usually don't talk about, both to men and women. I usually work with women hormones and with ladies in general. And a lot of times, ladies bring their husbands to work with me because of the results they're getting. I'm a mom of a boy and a wife and daughter. And of course, I worked with some men. And today I want to address an issue of estrogen dominance. That problem that I'm going to describe it in a second, but from a point of a mother, daughter, and wife. So kind of like from the female point of view and from a person who works a lot with hormones. Of course, if you a man or if you a mother of a boy and you notice some of the symptoms like a little bit more nervousness, crying, like desire to cry, or having these mood swings, sometimes bipolar, sometimes hysterical bursts, sometimes, which happens in men too, and absolutely normal in a condition that I'm going to talk about. It's not a condition, but in the circumstances. When you notice that you have what they call man boobs, when you have more feminine features in your body, or what they call spare tire. And I want to use these terms because a lot of times they kind of like circulating in your head and you don't even want to talk to yourself about that. But this is what you think, and this is how people call it, and it's going to touch your words, but that's what nowadays a lot of people use. So there is like fat tissue accumulation around the hips or around the belly area, around the breast area, which is typical for women but not typical for men. And you'll be surprised how many men, boys, young adults experience that nowadays. And I want to tell you that that can be helped pretty fast. And of course, when you look at your boy, when you start researching it, or if you are a boy, a man, if you look at your symptoms and you start researching them, you're probably going to see lots of videos about how to increase your testosterone, that you need to go to the gym, that you need to do cold showers and cold bath, you need to man up, you need to look at what you eat, and you have to eat lots of protein, and you need to look at your diet. So all of this manly stuff, and there are a lot of male practitioners that going to talk to you about that, and you probably tried a lot of them, and you're like, holy macaroni, I can't even have enough energy. I feel like all of this overwhelming me. I do feel like this is too much. And then you become even more depressed, sort of, even more going inside of yourself, trying to be someone who you can't be right now at this moment. And it's pretty sad because at first, when you already start noticing these symptoms, when it's like the estrogen, maybe yeast, maybe lots of, with these symptoms, usually a lot of mood swings, a lot of memory issues, a lot of identity issues going on, a lot of digestive issues like bloating, constant belly problems. And there is so much information. And for women, when we talk about the hormones, when we talk about how to the nice, gentle approach, the natural approach, the one that can lift you up, the one can help you breathe for women. But with a man, it's always go, do the cold showers, the gym, you have to push through, you have to toughen up. And this is not true, because sometimes you at the point that you need to get to the point when you want to do this stuff, when it's not going to break you even more, because it's always this is fine balance on when you have to build yourself up first to go out there and to do stuff and to push through, And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And actually, the soft approach to estrogen is always preferable. Use preferably first, even in men. Because when you toughen it up in the cold showers and lots of protein that you can't digest, it's going to give you more cortisol, more inflammation, more problems, and then you're going to lose energy, you're going to lose your motivation, it's going to be mood fluctuations, and all of this going to be miserable. It's like always never-ending battle. And of course, there's all of this craziness when it's a separation. This is a female approach, this is male approach, and we have to do it this way. And it's not true. So what can we do? What do you need to pay attention to? Forget about that you have to toughen up, man up. Forget that if you're a mother, forget that you need to tell your boy to toughen up. We need gentle approach first. The gentler your approach going to be right now, the more you as a woman, or even if you're a man watching this, the more when you let yourself to use this soft approach first, the better and faster results you're going to get. And then you can man up, toughen up, and do whatever you want after, because I guarantee you the results. And first thing I want you to pay attention to is we always start when we talk about this estrogen. If you have these, changes in your body, that means there's estrogen in the place. And you probably heard about that estrogen is coming to us from all over the place, right? It's in the water, it's in the plastics, it's in the food. You have to be scared, aware of the estrogen. But the thing is, why some of the men are addressed to the same food. I mean, not addressed, but they get in contact with the same environment, they eat the same food, sometimes drink the same water, and they don't get these the symptoms of estrogen dominance. That's what it is. Usually this happens, and I noticed when I work with men, usually this happens when there is some imbalance in the brain and brain neurotransmitters, which are usually affected by yeast in the small intestine. So if you're a guy who's drinking beer, I can tell you, switch to sparkling water and whiskey. That's what my husband switched a while ago, and he could not love it more. Okay, so don't stop drinking beer for sure. For now. But the thing is, what can go wrong? So a lot of people, a lot of doctors, in both when we talk about female and male hormones, a lot of people and practitioners and nutritionists and doctors forget that the very first one of the main organs of the endocrine system that's responsible for our hormones is your brain. The balance in the between left and right part of your brain, your hypothalamus, pituitary gland, your brain is the organ, the part of your endocrine system that through the nervous system affect your whole body, and that tells your organs what to do. Your testes, your ovaries, your pancreas, your thyroid. And a lot of people, when we talking about thyroid, a lot of people talk about the problems in females, thyroid issues, and they say a lot more women have thyroid problems, but they talking about gland itself. And when I look at the men, a lot of men have thyroid issues, but not the problem with the gland itself, but with the thyroid hormone getting inside of the cell, because the cell getting calcified. The cell is it's like a blob of fat. There are fatty acids that are the structure of a cell wall, and it's kind of liquid and luscious, and it lets hormones in and toxins out. So a lot of times the man metabolism, that fat accumulation of the fat around the organs and around the abdominal area, a lot of problems with the thyroid and metabolism they happen inside of the cell when we see the calcification, when the calcium, and how the calcification starts. Calcification is the process when this fluid membrane becoming calcified. It's like you have a city, you live in a city, and all of a sudden orcs are coming to get in your city. What the city is gonna do? They're gonna close all of the walls, and you're like medieval time city, not nowadays city. They're gonna close the walls, and nothing can get in, nothing can get out, so orcs can get in. So the same happens to your cell. Your cell basically closes itself in, and that happens by when mitochondria detect some type of inflammation in the body. And that happens a lot. Again, when it comes from the liver problem, digestive problems, and we need to toughen up. It's always outside thing that happen in our body in men. No. This is very thing that happened to you because you too have the same stress as women. You too have feelings. You too have emotions. And the life, it gets very intense right now. Now look at my boy. And I always say, well, somebody's going to always tell him from the very beginning, toughen up. You can't cry. You can't fall. You're a man. And your whole life you hear that. And at some point, it's just becoming way too freaking much. And it's some heartache, something really intense might happen in your life. And boy's childhood is not a joke because you always have to be a man. And I'm not going to use that approach with my man, little man, who's 3 now. And I wouldn't do it. Because there's always going to be somebody, there's always going to be a lot of people in this world who's going to tell my boy, toughen up, you're a man, you can't cry, you can't do this. So I'm going to tell him the opposite. And I have no doubt I'm going to raise amazing man. But I am going to kiss his boo-boos. I am going to tell him he can cry. And that's okay to cry. Because when you don't cry, your liver has to process your stress. That's why, my dear man, you have a lot of problems in your liver because you always hold it yourself. All of these bile, all of these emotions, you have to toughen up. And these emotions, they live in pancreas, they live in your liver, they live in your brain. And when it's becoming too much, it's brewing in there, what's going to happen? Your nervous system going to take all of this calcium from your bone and teeth and it start putting into your nervous system. Doing exactly that. Tough man. You have to be numb. You have to go through. You have to toughen up. And I was kind of like having the same approach to my husband and to my boy until recently everything started coming to me. I'm like, you can't do this anymore. We have to love them unconditionally. You guys don't owe us anything, And they don't owe me, my son and my husband, they don't owe me to be tough. Yes, I would love to see them tough, but not because I need to be weak. We both, women can be loving their men unconditionally, not because they have to be tough, just because we're different and we are one, dark and light, yin and yang. We just, can we love people around us just because they part of us, right? And a man and a woman, they're always part of each other. But long story short, let's get back to you guys. So the calcium, that calcification makes you very tough. And what happens here, unfortunately, in this process, your membrane getting calcified too. So then your insulin and your thyroid hormone can get in and the toxins can get out and it start accumulating and then the organs getting calcified. Your brain, your pancreas, your liver, and not working the way it's supposed to work. And when insulin can get in, you're going to have these emotions because you don't have this sweetness in life. You don't have that energy everybody demanding from you, but you have to be tough. You have to go there. You have to break through. And when you don't have insulin, there is lots of inflammation, there is cortisol coming in, and then you have to push even more cortisol. And what happens? Eventually your body gets very tired and everything starts going down. And then you just start having the shaky moods. And then when your liver doesn't work, the liver is the organ that takes your glucose, the food you eat, converts it to energy for you. And when it can't do it no more because of the calcification, because of the bacteria accumulates in the small intestine, the same process as women, nobody talks a lot about a lot of unpleasant symptoms happen in the gut, like constipation and diarrhea. And everybody's talking about women's symptoms anymore, but not about men. But you guys have the same bodies, believe it or not. A little bit different structure and hormonal issues, but it's a live body that needs a live approach, not always toughen up, but sometimes you need soften, sometimes you need to open up that body. And then after that, like I said, you can use the toughen up approach. But that liver, it started accumulating these triglycerides and these crazy magnesium imbalances, calcium shell, magnesium shell, so you're not having these minerals. And then, of course, you start accumulating fat around your liver, around your organs, then around your belly. And everybody walking around, and you can be on a zero carb diet. You can man up and eat all of your steaks or eat all of the protein powders. But if you can't process that protein, if you can't digest it, if you can't absorb it because of the liver, the pancreas, and the bacteria, the digestive issues, what's going to happen? Your body's going to take your muscle, chew it up, and store it as fat. So then you see all of these fatty tissues start accumulating and you lose your muscles. You can go to gym all day long and eat just asparagus and steak. You're not going to grow your muscle, baby. And you don't need to toughen up. You need to go there and use the process of opening up, removing what needs to be removed, and added what needs to be added. And then the liver, right? That's how some guys can be in the same conditions, but they're not going to experience the problems with estrogen like some guys. Of course, it comes from the very bacteria or yeast you get from your mom. When you're in her belly, you can be born with already with bacteria that are dominant in your intestine, like strep and staph, for example. And strep bacteria is responsible for estrogen, for accumulating estrogen, for imbalances. And then, of course, copper, that also you can have these problems from your mom, starting from your mom with like copper, some of your minerals, lacking of minerals, maybe copper dominance. And the copper and estrogen and liver problems can start very early in your childhood, and then in puberty, and then you look at your son and you notice something is going on, and then you have dark thoughts, or if you're a man, you look at yourself in the mirror and you start having dark thoughts. All can be corrected. The minerals, the copper, all of this stuff, if you have a bioavailable copper, it needs to leave your body. In a lot of people talk about this when it comes to women hormones, but not men hormones. You have delicate hormones too, guys. Please believe me. And of course, that liver, right? Liver, copper, minerals, estrogen, brain. And if you normalize it, if you remove what needs to be removed, if you deal with your gangs of New York's different species of bacteria in your body that you might get from your mom, and then the food, the lifestyle, whatever, your toughen up lifestyle where you have to be a man. It doesn't matter what you eat, it doesn't matter how you sleep, it doesn't matter what emotions you have to provide, you have to go, you have to do. And that's how it all accumulating, and it's called metabolic chaos. And no, just the cold shower is not going to do it. And no, just going to the gym and eating steaks or protein powder is not going to do it. You need a very gentle, loving approach to your body. When you take what doesn't belong in there anymore and it's been accumulating and creating that metabolic chaos, that estrogen dominance, that low testosterone, and low testosterone not always addressed with just cold showers, toughen up, and do the manly stuff. This is the mineral balance. This is your liver health. This is your clean, healthy small intestine, your pancreas, and of course your brain. A lot of things in hormonal system can be addressed by addressing your brain health. I always say this is number one priority when it comes to hormones. Of course, the food is important, but the key is not upgrading to the next diet. It's just so little supplements and changing of the diet can do in the body that need to be addressed with love and care and knowing exactly. It's like a puzzle. When you're putting all of these pieces, different pieces of a puzzle together, then boom, you're gonna have it. But you can't just take one piece like a diet and say, hey, this is my solution, or take just supplements and say, hey, I'm gonna take some supplements for testosterone and it's all gonna come into place. When it comes now, what can we do? The liver health, addressing the liver cleanses. In my Tree of Life program, I have such good liver cleanses that are addressing your pancreas and your liver. Iodine, what it's going to do for both men and women, it's going to dissolve that scar tissue. It's going to dissolve that tissue overgrowth or in your intestines that create this condition for growing the bacteria, creates this condition for the cell, the calcification of a cell. What we're going to happen with iodine, we're going to make this cell membrane permeable again, so the hormones can get in, toxins can get out, addressing the minerals, especially like copper, iodine, potassium, magnesium, selenium. It's a balance. It's a mistake that you can just take a box of minerals and start taking it and it's gonna give you the results you want, or you can just take one mineral like magnesium and it's gonna do the job. We need a lot more minerals, and unfortunately we are depleted nowadays right from the start, from the mom. And mom guilt is crazy, and I don't want to go there because my own, I started with a lot of problems, health problems I didn't even know about, and I have a girl and a boy, and I know they're 4 years apart, and I know what can mom give to children. So a lot of the problems start pretty early, and then these genetic things can be corrected. We can affect genes with minerals, with nutrients, with vitamins, with breath. A lot of times there is a lot of internal fascia scarring in your belly. That stress usually lodges here in your chest and in your belly and in your hips for both men and women. So a lot of things can be addressed that way. And it's miracles what you can do in your boys' lives, or if you're a man in your life before you go and try your regular tough approaches. So you can look at my Tree of Life. You can reach out to me and talk to me. And the only thing I really want you to remember, minerals, brain, liver, pancreas, it's not a rocket science. In these areas, what we need to do is take what doesn't belong in your body and give what it needs, and that's it. Then the gym, cold shower, manipulating cortisol, taking actually, one cool thing that can raise testosterone pretty fast is boron tablets. They are super cheap but super powerful, and pine needle powder, boron, the methylene blue, amazing. Even in a pretty harsh cases, that can raise testosterone pretty good, pretty fast. And of course, switch the beer to what is that, whiskey and sparkling water. Yes. So that's all I want to talk about. And if you like this video, leave me a comment, talk to me. I'm gonna make more videos about men hormones and the gentle approach that I use for my men and boys out there, help my my view on this. All right. Love you. Bye-bye.